back to He Met Me in the Middle. I'm Breanne Sims, RN,
And I'm Sheri Johnson, functional nutrition and lifestyle practitioner.
and today we have a very wonderful guest. So I'm going to let Sheri introduce her.
And we have Melisa. I hope I pronounced that hard. And her bio is short and simple. She's a mom, she's Gigi, she's a speaker, she's an advocate, and she's a coach. I say simple, but there's a lot going on in there, and she's going to tell us all about it. And I'm excited to have her tell her story about really how God met her in the middle in all of this.
Thank you for having me. I appreciate the time this morning or whenever anyone's watching this morning, afternoon, evening. Okay. So thank you.
Yeah, absolutely. So where would you like to dive in? Do you wanna
My,
Yeah,
where do you want to start? I have a lot. There's a lot going on in my world between the foundation and coaching and just my faith.
right.
And all of obviously the faith is intertwined in all of it. The whole faith journey was a very challenging one for me.
Yeah.
I'll
Maybe
jump in.
starting with you're a mom, because I think a lot of that kind of is where you started, right? You started as a mom. A lot of it's gonna be intertwined in there, but give us some backstory about that and how you now have a foundation and why.
Okay. I was married. I was a wife first. So I was married very young, at 16, age 16, married a Marine who was 5 years my senior and took me from Florida. I'm a native Floridian. I was born and raised in the northern part of the state. And at 16, left and drove across country and moved to Hawaii. And then 6 months later, I was 16 and a half. So 6 months later, I was at 17 in Hawaii when my husband left to go on his first 6 month deployment and leave me in Hawaii by myself at 17 with no family, friends. And that was a huge shock to because back then there was no cell phones. This is in the 80s. So I'm much older. So this is in the 83 is when I get married. And so no cell phones. Basically he left
Wow.
6 month deployment. If I wanted to speak with him, we really didn't have the money back then to make a phone call because it's very expensive overseas. So I would mail him a letter. It would take 2 weeks for him to get the letter. He would respond to it, mail it back to me. And by that time, it had been a month that we really, if I needed an answer or needed any advice on, hey, what should I do in this situation? It was a month. By that time, I had already made the decision to decide, okay, this is what I'm doing. And I was a very shy, painfully shy, introverted girl. So I spent most of my time in our condo staring at the wall and watching TV because I was so scared to be out and about and when didn't really know, I wasn't really prepared for my parents about life. So anyways, then we had by the time I was 19, just turned 19, we had our first son in Hawaii. And then we moved to Paris Island. So basically Marine Corps for 37 years, a lot of moving around. In Paris Island, we had our second child, second son. And my second son was born with a neuromuscular disease. It wasn't in either side of our family, so there was no expectation. There was no issues with pregnancy. So I had no idea that this bombshell was coming for us and didn't really know what to do with it. Like I said, there was no internet, Google. So we couldn't get on Google and just start Googling, okay, what's wrong with our child? Because we didn't even know when he was born that he had a neuromuscular disease. They just knew something's not right. So we really didn't have answers until he was probably almost a year old. That was a first diagnosis and didn't have a detailed diagnosis until he was 16. So then we had our move to North Carolina, had our third child and another boy. And at that time I said, I'm done. No more. And so at 27, I had my tubes tied and said, no, we're not going to have any more accidents. We had a child with a disability and it was a lot because he never walked, never had his independence. And he lived until he was 28 and a half. So there was a lot of care for him, day on, stay on of care, physical care for him. So anyways, just through that journey with him and then him passing, we got out of the Marine Corps and we were in Memphis for about 13 years until moved back to Florida. And after he passed away in 2018 from an accident, we in the process he had written a book. I have a book. So he wrote a book, Abled, and it's backwards, but it's Abled in a Disabled World. And took him about 3 years to write that book. And the book depicts his life, the ups and downs, the depression, the envy, the jealousy of others his age, of getting to go off and be a dependent and live their lives, and him stuck at home with his parents because even though he was physically disabled, he was very bright. very sharp young man. And so he wrote this book, and after he passed away, he finished the book. He finished the manuscript 2 weeks before he passed.
Wow.
So after he passed away, we started seeking publishers to publish the book, and it took about 9 months to find someone who understood the heart of the book. And we actually ended up finding a publisher. It was really God who brought us together with this publisher, because at 9 months, everyone had said no, and my heart was just crushed. So I was done. I told his dad, it's Evin. I told his dad, I said, I'm done. I can't do this right now. I'm barely hanging on right now, and I just can't continue to take any more of these losses. So he happened to be in DC and ran into somebody who didn't even know he was a publisher, and it just came up. And it was a God thing totally. And the gentleman who's now our publisher, and actually sits on the board of our foundation, he just understood the heart because he had lost two girls. So he understood what it was to lose a child, understood that heart of it. And in the process of publishing the book, I just decided, I was like, it would be really cool if the proceeds of the book were to come back to help somebody else. So it's like a circle of giving. Like the money, I didn't want to take any money from the book, but I wanted it to serve a purpose. And so that's what we decided. Let's start a foundation. We won't take any money from the foundation. And we had all these grand ideas about what the foundation would do. Had no idea where it would end up today. Did not even plan any of it. What we're doing today was not the thought when we first started it. So that's how the foundation started, was just by Evan's book and who he was. He was an incredible young man. He got his master's degree at St. Leo University and could calculate math in his head. He was just a very brilliant young man. I could go on, and I probably could talk for a whole hour without you really saying a word, but this needs to be a back and forth, so I'll zip it if you have any questions.
Yeah. So I know that you have a second book also that you've released, because I was fortunate enough to win one of those books at the Christian Chamber where we met here in Central Florida. Do you have one of those on hand that you can show also?
I actually, what's crazy is so this was written by Evin,
Hmm.
my middle son, who passed. I'm in the middle of writing two books right now. One's on grief. One is on just my life of raising a child with a disability. Everything I had learned. Man, he taught me so many crazy lessons and still teaching me lessons today. So I'm in the middle of writing two books myself. But my oldest son, Alex, he and Evin had a really close relationship. And his loss just hit him so hard. For a long time, he's like, I really want to, how do I honor my brother? What do I do? And he's a Marine, or got out of the Marine Corps. He's not in the Marine Corps anymore, but a Marine and all that tough guy. And he said, I want to honor Evin because he has me, a G, he has my two grandsons. And because he had children, he wanted to approach that from teaching at a younger age. Let's teach children how to interact with someone who has a disability. Because Evan's whole life was, people don't know how to interact with me, so they look past me. They act like I'm invisible, like I don't even exist. And it, man, kills my heart. My oldest son was like, I really want to honor him and write children's books. So our first book was Evin Goes to the Zoo, and it's about a little girl who loses her mommy, and he really wants to see and the illustrator's amazing. It took us 2 years to find the illustrator, who's in Argentina, but the illustrations are amazing. And this one is, they're all value centered. So the little girl, he goes to see the monkeys, which is what he's been waiting for forever. And when he gets there, everybody's standing in front of him and he can't see the monkeys. So because he can't see the monkeys, there's this little girl crying on the side by the trash can, and he rolls up to her and goes, "Hey, what's wrong? Are you okay?" And she's like, "Oh, I lost my mom." And everybody else is so busy looking at the monkeys, he sees her because he can't see the monkeys either. So he sees her, and he says, "Hey, jump on the back of my wheelchair and let me just take you around." And so they have this adventure running around the park trying to find her mom, and ends up finally finding her mom. So it doesn't matter. The story is, it doesn't matter how little you are, or you still have value. You can help in some way. That's all of our books are centered on finding value. And then we have the second book was He Goes to the Amusement Park. And all of these stories are things that happened to us. So with Evin, he could never ride the rides. And he was upset by that. But he would go, on his adventure, he and I would go shop, and we'd go to the candy stores, and we would do our own thing, and we would find our way to have our own fun. even though it wasn't the same way everybody else. His brothers were having fun. They were riding the rides, but we were having our own adventure. And I like these books because we make sure that at the end of the book, I'll show you real quick. At sorry, at the end of every book, we put pictures of the family. Like that's our picture at Universal.
Aw.
And this book has a picture of Alex and Evin when he was little, and a picture of them as brothers together. So we want every book to have a personal picture in it so that the children know this is a real character. It's not just a made up character. And everything that, all the stories that enter the book are something that really happened with our family. So the last book that's coming out, actually, I'm waiting for the box of books now. We ordered them, they're done. But it's Evin Gets a Pool, and it's him facing his fear and having courage to go into the water and the adventure that he has with his brothers because he overcomes his fear with his dad's help to get into the water and have courage and then he has this great adventure and they have a lot of fun. So those are the books that are coming out that have come out, and my oldest son has 15 more books. He's writing a book now about Evin going to a skating party. And that's something that really happened. And what did he do when he was at the skating party? He was really nervous. And then he ended up with all these kids on the back of his wheelchair and he's pulling them around the skating rink and they're having a lot of fun. Yeah. Yeah.
That is amazing. I love that so much. So where can someone get these books?
Our publisher was sending everybody to Amazon,
Okay.
but I don't want to do that because Amazon, we've had a couple of people who want to sell these books at like ridiculous prices, and you can't control anything on Amazon, unfortunately. And I don't want someone paying $100 for a child's book. I'm going, who? And I don't want us to get a bad name because they're going, why are you selling a book for $100? So now we send them to our publisher's website, which is Curry Publishers. And I don't know if you can link it somewhere, but Curry Brothers Publishing is the website, and every book that comes out will always be on that website.
Yeah.
We have a lot of stuff that's going on in the foundation if you want to hear about it. If not, we can move on
Yeah,
to something
no, please
else.
tell.
That's
Okay,
right
so
on.
we have two scholarships. One's offered at the University of South Florida, and the other one's at St. Leo University. They're all here in Florida. And then we have the university curriculum. Okay, back up. So Evin had this idea because when he was going to St. Leo University, he had a lot of problems. The professors didn't always want to help him, unfortunately. There was a lot of Evin teaching the professors what he needed and how he needed it. And some professors were very difficult to work with. And he told me, he said, Mom, he said, there needs to be a university curriculum that teaches those who are going into healthcare, whether it's psychiatry or home health care or counseling, pre-med, nursing, how it is, what we're actually going through as a disabled person or person who is disabled. What am I actually going through? What am I dealing with? And he started the curriculum. We didn't find it until after he passed away. I found it in his room and didn't know he had started working on it. And so I asked a board member, actually Gerald Curry, who's Curry Brothers Publishing. I asked him, I said, hey, could you do something with this? Because he's an adjunct professor as well. And I said, hey, can you do something with this? And he said, yeah, sure. Let me take a crack. So he finished it. Evin had started it. He finished it. And now St. Leo University is teaching it. And at Notre Dame, we are in our fifth semester currently right now. When they opened up registration for this course, it was booked immediately. It was full with a waiting list. The kids love it. All the feedback I get from the students, and they're all pre-med, nursing, counseling, all of that, which is what we wanted. And these students with the feedback is, man, you know what? I had no idea. I had no idea what I didn't know. And now when I become a doctor or I'm a nurse, I'm going to deal with someone who has a disability completely different. So it gives me more sympathy and more empathy to understand them as a person and not just the disease, but as a whole person. So that's going on. And then this year we just passed a law. Actually, Lieutenant Governor Jay Collins, who was just named Lieutenant Governor, he was a senator back a couple of months ago, and he actually sponsored our bill in the Senate because he has a child with autism, and he also came back from war with a disability. So he understood and had this just heart to push this through the Senate. And then we had a lovely representative, Michelle Salzman, on the House rep side. that she carried it on that side. So for 2 months, I was up and back and forth to Tallahassee testifying before the House and the Senate, and it passed. And so what that did is it created this law on disability education. So now our K through 12 schools, all of them in Florida, are required to teach about disability, history, awareness, anti-bullying in October of every year. So that just started this year. So really proud of that because that's going to be so impactful for generations. If you think about it, I don't think it's really hit me yet how impactful that this law is going to be. But yeah, so we're really excited about that. So I was saying I had no idea when we started this foundation it was going to be education centric. No idea. But it has gone where it's naturally where it's gone.
That's what Evin wanted. He wanted people to know.
That was his whole life was education. He was educating everyone every day. This is what I need. I have value. I may look different, but I have the same hopes and dreams and desires that you do. I'm just going to attain them differently. But don't look at me and go, because you're in a wheelchair, because you have contractures, you look different. Here, you be over here. You stay over here because there's, you know what I'm saying? And that's what he fought for his whole life was that, no, listen to me. And he was very forceful. No, and don't tell me no. If you tell me no, I'm going to make it happen even more. Because that had a little bit, he was put a little bit of headstrong stubbornness in him.
But it seems he's still having a say in what's going on. So that's amazing.
He does. Yeah,
Yes.
he does. I think he's teaching us all now, still to this day. We're actually doing our first annual fundraiser at St. Leo University, October of next year. It's going to be
Wow,
a nice gala, sit down, our first annual. So we're really excited to start planning that fundraiser. And it's going to be at his school, which is really cool.
That is cool.
that's amazing.
Yeah.
So they're teaching it at that school, this course. As a healthcare professional, I'm very intrigued. I'm like, I feel like this could be a great continuing education opportunity for so many healthcare providers who are already working in the field.
Mm,
That would be,
I thought
does,
about that, but that's an idea. Yeah, that's a great idea.
yeah, I wonder if that would be because I'm interested in taking the course. I'm like, how can you sign up for just one class at this university?
I love what we do is at Notre Dame every semester, either I fly up and I lecture the class and do a Q&A with the class, or we do it on
Wow,
Zoom.
Oh, that's amazing.
And
that's
so and
amazing.
the teachers and the students, we've gotten such great feedback because because what's so cool is that the our university curriculum is based on the book. So the kids have to read the
Ah,
book. That's part of the curriculum.
fantastic. Wow.
So they're reading about our whole family and Evin for the whole semester, and then at the end of the semester, they do a Q&A and they get real world application. It's okay, wow, this is how I think it brings it to life. It's not
Mm-hmm.
just I'm reading this and it's about disability law. Okay, how did that affect us as a family and all the things? Because we battled it. This book is a battle of insurance companies and real estate and not real estate, but wheelchair and nursing agencies, you name it. It was a battle all the time for his services. And I'm just a person who likes to battle, but you have some parents don't have it in them or they don't know where to go to get answers or to even, and it's not out there. It's not in a book. It tells you, hey, do this and this. You have to dig or fight for it. But yeah,
Wow.
that's good.
Incredible resources and impact the foundation is having. That's
Mhm.
amazing.
Yeah. And I love that you either go there and teach or do it on Zoom because how many times have you read a book and especially something that's has happened real life and you have
Mm.
questions. You're like, and probably things maybe you hadn't even thought of, along the way. So that's
The students have amazing thought-provoking questions. Sometimes they stump me. I'm like, I've never had that question before. I don't know. Let me think about that one. I'm not sure how I'm going to answer that. Because I think as a family, we were so unorthodox in how we dealt with Evin. We treated him like we did our other two sons. We had the same expectations. And I let him go outside in a wheelchair. I let him be thrown out of his chair or be bruised up or knocked. That was just, he was a boy. And I wanted him to have the full experience of life. Not, he wanted to be safe. We ended up buying him a helmet after he was thrown from his chair. But because we didn't expect that. But I wasn't a mom who was super like protective because I felt, and I had always told him this, I've got to teach you to advocate for yourself because I may not be here. If something happened to me tomorrow, you've got to learn, you got to have your voice. You've got to speak up for yourself, and you tell people what you need and what you want in an tactful way with love and compassion. But still, you have to do that for yourself. And I knew a lot of parents who really wanted their children at home encased in whatever so that they couldn't get hurt, and they were always protecting them. Really did a disservice to the child because the child never grew beyond those four walls of their home and then playing video games. They didn't really grow and experience life. So
That's amazing. And I think I love what you did because it did help him grow, and it made him probably more confident as well.
he did have a confidence about it. Yeah. Sometimes too much. I thought, oh my goodness, Evin, you need to calm down a little bit. But I think he learned that through, I think he saw me fighting for him, and then that emboldened him to fight for himself. And I've had people tell me, why do you have to fight for anything? And I'm like, apparently you've never had to advocate for anybody, because I didn't. I always joke with my kids and going like, I wasn't like this. I wasn't like this. Other people made me like this. I had to dig down deep and fight and become the mama bear, which we all have in us, but you don't want to go there. It's not like you want to be that person. It's just in order to get some services or get things that you have to. It's
Right.
unfortunately, but
It's true. I dealt with that to a lesser level with a daughter that had ADHD, and just getting a couple accommodations for her was such a workout, and it shouldn't be, because you want these kids to thrive in school, and you're going to have to give them maybe a little something different. Everything's cookie
right.
cutter, or should be.
No, it's not. My youngest son had a lot of problems with ADHD. So it was a constant battle with him too. So I completely understand. It's frustrating as a parent, for sure.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah.
Yeah.
So you've had quite the journey and a lot of experience through your life advocating, coaching, and working. And so I'm curious, I know you have your own website also where you do coaching and speaking and things like that. So I'm curious about just your personal journey through all of this and where that has led you now today and what you're doing.
No, my thought was never coaching. That was not, and until Evan passed, and it put me on a different trajectory. Obviously, my whole life was turned upside down, because before that I was in real estate for about, I still have my license, but I don't practice right now. But like commercial real estate for 27 years. I had my own business. I had my own real estate company when Evan passed away, and ended up walking away from that business or shutting it down because I thought it's either going to be something's going to happen. I was in a really bad place. But I left that, went through the pandemic, which was the best thing that ever happened to me. I lost Evan in 2018. I walked away from my business in the end of 2019. And of course, we know what happened in 2020 when COVID and all of that. But that was the first time that the world came to a stop, and all the chaos and distractions that I was in, because I was in shock for the first year. I really was just, I was going through life. I don't know what happened. Like he was my whole life, not my whole life. My children were my whole life, but because he was home until he was 28 and a half and passed, he and I were interacting constantly. We fought battles together. We had to spend a lot of time together. And so I just lost my way, and the pandemic stopped everything, and I just had a year to grieve. I went to Sedona and went to the mountains, and I went to North Carolina to the mountains and on the beach. And I really took that year to just, everything slowed down. I wasn't working. Thank goodness, very blessed that I didn't have to work during that year. And I was able to allow myself some self care and allow myself to grieve and feel what I needed to feel. When things opened back up, I decided to go into banking. I don't know where that came from, but I had an opportunity to go into banking. So I was doing business loans, SBA government loans. I did that for a couple of years. And I woke up one day, I guess it was in 2021, in May. My birthday's in May. And I was like, I don't want to do this. I hate it. I hate going to work every day. I literally hate what I do. And that's a strong word about I hate it. What am I doing? Like this doesn't serve a purpose. I don't want to do this. It's not heart centric at all. And I loved my customers. They were great. But I just woke up and said, you know what? Today I'm resigning, putting in my 2 week notice. Had no safety net, had no nothing. I was like, you know what? I'm going to go into coaching, because I had been for the last 10 years actually in doing certifications and really diving deep into neurology and how does the brain work? And brain fascinates me. And so it was more like take these certifications, do this, and now apply it to my life. Okay, now I apply it, and it was really helping me to grow. And not just grief is time, and you never heal from losing a child, but it really did help me to grow in a lot of other areas of my life, especially being married so young and having a lot of beliefs, someone else's beliefs in religion. I was born and raised in a church that was very legalistic, a lot of law. I would say not so much love, more law. And I just had that. I lost my train of thought, but what was I saying? Sorry, I'm all around. I was saying that I had time. I guess I had time during that time to just reflect. And so I stepped away and I used everything that I had learned in those 10 years previously. And I was like, you know what? I can help others. I think I can really help, whether it's grieving moms or right now I'm settling on just helping moms in every area of life, whether it's young moms who need mentoring and learning self-care and just learning to be a mom, or empty nesters where their children have left and they have lost their identity because their children have been their everything. And so now they've lost, who am I? Or maybe they're going through menopause or whatever the situation is. I just, I feel this need to just serve moms in every aspect of life. And so what I learned and applied to myself, I'm like, yeah, I can help others. I can, and I do. I help others through coaching and help them find themselves again. I one thing I question there's one question I have for a lot of women is that, what about you isn't you? 'Cause I think we pick up a lot of things from other people that becomes us, but it's not us. And we take it on as ours, and then we go through life with it. And maybe it served us at one time, but it's not really who we are because we're so serving everybody else and we're taking on all of whether it's family, culture, environment. Parents give us a lot of this stuff when we're young. We take it on as our own and these traditions. And then like in religion, there was one way that I was taught, and I always felt like there's more. There's not, this doesn't sit with me. This doesn't sit like, and so a couple of years ago, I started really digging into to the Bible, and I was like, okay, those were not my beliefs. Those are somebody else's. But this is the truth. This is what I'm reading is the truth. This is my belief. This is what I feel like God is saying to me, and this is truth, not what I was taught my whole life. And it's been a challenge because some of my family, I don't think that they think I'm not doing the right thing because I'm not going down the road that that they are down, which is unfortunate. But I'm at a point in my life where I'm like, I don't care. I don't care. It's okay. I love you. You can believe how you want to believe, and I still love you. And I hope that you feel that way about me. But if they don't, it's okay.
Yeah.
So
That's good.
that's coaching. That's coaching in a nutshell. It's funny because I feel like I'm being called now. A lot of mindset coaching, there's a lot of philosophies running around, Buddha. It really coaching sometimes goes to the whole new age thing. And I was in that for a while. I will admit I was down that hole for a while, and then I was like, whoa, what am I doing? This is crazy. And I got out of it. But I've been feeling called really from the Holy Spirit lately to coach more with biblical principles, but not in your face, but the biblical principles combined with mindset tools. And to understand that these philosophers are great, but where did they get all this philosophy? Came from the Bible. If we look at it, it really everything they're saying really came from the Bible. They're just using it as their own or going, "Oh, I was so smart." No, it was God. Give God the glory because that's where it always goes. It's to God. But
Exactly. That's beautiful.
I feel a lot of coaching programs do take you down that path, not biblical.
it really is the universe path, and some of the certifications that I have to go, okay, that doesn't apply. I'm not, but I can use this principles. Great. This mindset tool is great.
Mhm.
But now let me marry it with a Bible verse and let me really, and so I think the more I study, the more lights are going on. Ooh, I like that. I like that I can marry these two together and feel good that I'm doing something from the heart, but it's still God based.
Yeah.
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 Which is amazing. God takes us through difficult things sometimes so we can turn around and help the ones coming behind us. So I love that. You have such a heart
Yeah.
for moms, other moms, and helping them through their own difficulties. So that's beautiful.
Thank you. Thank you.
Going back to your Q&A thing, because I was thinking about that again. that alone would be a great resource. And you probably already have that, just the Q&A, that the questions that you've been asked in either a book or on your website or somewhere. I feel like that there's probably, like you said, so many questions that you never even thought about that could help families or parents or providers. Yeah.
Yeah, after every course, after every semester at Notre Dame, I have the professor ask the students 3 questions. And they have to answer the questions before they can take the final exam. So we make sure that the questions are answered right there. But the first question is, what were your expectations before the class? The second question is basically, what did you get out of the class? What did you receive after the class was done? And then the third one is, would you recommend this class to someone else and why? And I have, yeah, every time the professor puts it in an Excel spreadsheet and then sends me the Excel spreadsheet of the answers, the questions and the answers. And I'm just in tears, bawling, because these kids are just, they're so thoughtful. And the question and the answers are just profound. I'm like, oh, I didn't think about that. I didn't even think they would get that from this course or from the book. Because so with Evan's book, he wrote the book, but during the time that we published it, we had reached out to a lot of friends and family, and we asked them, could you please write a letter basically stating what was Evan's impact in your life? What did he do during his life? What impact did you receive from him? And I put all those letters in the back of the book because
Wow.
I wanted to show Evan's story of all the things that he dealt with through his life. And that his book is written, everyone who reads it's, oh my gosh, with the way it's written, it feels like you're in the journey with him. It literally feels like you're on his wheelchair, you're on the back of his wheelchair and you're riding through life with him, the way he writes. And so I love the book because it takes you on this journey up and down until the last chapter where he finally comes to acceptance. Okay, I'm here for a reason. And I got to give back and I've got to help people and that's why I'm here. And then after that chapter, then the last part is now here's impact. Okay, here's the impact on people's lives and how he really affected their lives. And I love that we thought about doing that. I don't even know whose idea it was, but I'm happy that we thought about doing that and capturing that impact for others.
It just makes it even more real. He's more of a real person. You're not just reading a story. This is
Hmm.
a real person.
Which I think is the greatest impact for that course. And I would love to get it into other universities. We're trying to build that momentum, that feedback from students so that we have that going to other universities and going, hey, this course is doing well here at Notre Dame and St. Leo, but it's very political. I had no idea how political the these universities are. It's crazy. But that's our goal. And I'd love to get this K through 12, this law passed in other states. That would be another desire or goal for the foundation is to other universities as well as other schools in other states. Because now it's taken out of the federal level now that education for students is now back in the governor's hands state by state. So it's really going state to state and trying to get these laws passed and but it's so impactful. I think it's a need.
Yeah, I think it's a great need. I think that's amazing.
Definitely. Yeah. So educating children even more in a different way. Because it makes me wonder
Mhm.
too about, do the Christian schools in Florida have to teach it? Are they required also?
It's a good question. We have my grandsons, they're in a Christian school but they're private. So they're not required to teach it, although my son goes to church with a lot of the a lot of the teachers, and he's good friends with the principals. We're trying to get that curriculum in there taught because I do believe that there's a need. Also, the homeschool side.
Yes,
We have
yes.
I have Courtney Burgess. She's Senator Burgess's wife. She also sits on my board, and she homeschools her 3 children. And so we're trying to get into the homeschool side and provide the curriculum there as well as these books, trying to get these books
Yes.
into the school libraries.
Mhm.
Actively trying to pursue that because it's a good book. There's nothing bad about some books are being taken out because of certain reasons that we all know. But this is a good wholesome book to be read and has value and it's a good story for children. It's a good example. So hopefully we can
Yeah,
make that happen soon.
that's fantastic.
Yeah.
So if someone wants to go make a donation to the foundation or spread awareness, what is the website?
The website is his name, so it's Evin, Evin, the letter B as in boy, and Hartsell.com. So evanbhartsell.com. And if you go to the website, there's a place there you can donate. There's a place there you can buy a book. If you click on the book link, it'll take you straight to the publisher's website, and then you can purchase his book. You can purchase the children's books. And then on the home page, there's a scrolling banner that just pretty much all of our current information, what we're doing with education, what's coming up, interviews we've done, or eventually we'll start putting something on about the fundraiser we'll be doing next year. So it's always kept up to date what's going on. But you can be assured that every money that goes to the foundation is spent in the foundation. I take nothing from it. His dad takes nothing from nobody takes anything from the foundation. So what it's 100% goes to spread education and just further the education's goals and desires.
I love that.
Amazing.
Not a lot of foundations can say that.
That's very
So
true,
true, so true.
right?
It's
I
unfortunate.
Yeah.
Unfortunate. Yeah.
So I'm going to throw a challenge out to our listeners in that what if you buy a book for you and your family and maybe one for a local school and see about getting it into the schools?
That
Oh,
would be, hey, Christmas.
exactly.
I was just gonna say the same thing. Books are my favorite thing to give as gifts. So can
Yes.
go order some books
Especially
and
your
be
sister
giving them
with
out
all
as
those
gifts.
kids.
Yeah, and we're trying to put a deal together for Black Friday, so I'm
Oh, good.
hoping like you buy because we have three children's books now. Like I said, the pool book will be out before we're waiting on it now. It's already been printed. We're just waiting on the delivery of the books.
Yes.
So maybe buying three books plus his book, or buying just three books by themselves, and you'll get a discount. So I'm trying to put together a kind of a Black Friday
Oh,
deal.
that's awesome.
So hopefully Gigi's out there love to buy grandpa and grandma love to buy books for their grandkids.
Yes. Yes. I know
And
that
Yes,
I,
I do
yes.
yeah,
books for gifts too.
absolutely. I know that I won the one at the Christian Chamber luncheon, and I don't have any grandchildren, but I gifted it to a friend who does, and she said they loved
Oh,
it. She goes, they just
oh,
loved the book,
oh,
the
that's
That's
good to
stories.
fantastic.
have going.
Yes.
You
Actually, the fundraiser we're doing next year is going to be centered on because we have done nothing to launch this whole series, nothing. But I was like, I really want to I do want to do the fundraiser around the children's book, really make it a family event or something. So I'd like to,
That would be
and
amazing.
maybe have people buy books for hospitals, buy books for Ronald McDonald House, maybe raise money for books to go there and different venues or different places like that.
Yeah, yeah. There's so much could be done with them, for
Yes.
sure.
And look, your local library, you can go and request them to order these books too. They have
Oh,
budgets for new books, and so you can go and request them to add them to your own library where you live. And
I am actually in the process of doing that. So yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
that's
yeah,
awesome.
exactly. So I'm like, oh, I might have to go to the library, call them and say, hey, can you get these books in? I'm also a huge fan of the Little Free Libraries. We have one at our house, and so I'm excited to order these and put them out there for kids to read. I'm always
Yes.
looking for to put out there.
That's
I
Yeah.
exciting.
love that. That's a good idea. That's a
Yeah.
great idea.
Yeah, and all of the links that have been mentioned will be put in our show notes so that you can find it in the description. So please do go out there and look for them and great Christmas presents. Yeah,
Yeah. And they're great. They're a great quality book. You won the book. The illustrations are
they
beautiful.
are. They really are.
Illustrates everything in a children's book. And I remember when my grandsons were first born because they love to read now, but I started reading to them when they were like 6 months old.
No,
And I've read some of the books that were horrible. The illustrations were horrible. I'm like, ooh, I don't even want to read this book. This is awful.
Yeah, there's some out there like that for sure.
yes,
Hmm.
yes. No.
Those are beautiful.
Hmm.
If anyone wants to contact you personally about coaching or coming and speaking, sharing your story, sharing about your foundation, where would they reach you?
My website is my name, melisahartsell.com. It's one Melisa with one S. And then my email is melisa.k.hartsell. But if you go on my website, there is on the page just for coaching. You can click and I'll get an email I do discovery calls, just free discovery calls. Just go, hey, are we a good fit for one another? What is your need? And if I can't serve it, if I think, okay, maybe this is something that there's someone else who's working in that area of expertise and I can connect with someone else. Or if we're just not, sometimes personalities just don't click. We're all that way, so it's okay. It's okay. No big deal, but I do a like I said, I do a discovery call and just to see if and it's a little coaching. So it's a discovery call, but it's also a little bit of coaching in that call just to kind of get a taste of exactly what do I do. So
That's awesome.
thank you
Fantastic.
for
Yeah.
Yeah, thank you for coming today.
Yes.
Thank you for sharing your story and about your foundation, your coaching, and your son. What a wonderful,
thank you.
Yeah.
And
wonderful.
you asked me about, I just have to share this because you had asked me about, or before we started talking, about my favorite verse in the Bible.
Yes, yes. We'd love to hear.
So can I share just a little of, I love Hebrews 11:1 just because it's about faith and things that you don't see, right? Because I think we're all challenged as Christians or followers of Christ to stay in faith because our
Mhm.
timing is not always God's timing. So
Early.
we all know the challenge, but there's a verse that I read several times a week in the morning time, and I won't read the whole thing because it's Psalm chapter 1. If you want to go read the whole chapter, it's an amazing chapter. But Psalm 91, 9 and 10, it says, if you make the Lord your refuge, if you make the Most High your shelter, no evil will conquer you, no plague will come near your home, for he will order his angels to protect you wherever you go. They will hold you up with their hands so you won't even hurt your foot on a stone. You will trample upon lions and cobras. You will crush fierce lions and serpents under your feet. The Lord says, I will rescue those who love me. I will protect those who trust in my name. I think that's beautiful, right? Because it just tells, man, you put your faith in God and he's got your back. Like no matter what, he's got you. It says a whole lot more than that in that chapter, but it just tells you, man, he's got me. You have that faith that he's got it.
Yeah.
He's going to take care of me no matter what.
I love that. And it's your story as well.
And he has. Yeah, he has. Even when I can look back now and when I was in that whole new age era, I had a lot of problems with the church I was in, a lot of really bad experiences. And that's why I left the church. And then I think I was seeking comfort. It was after my son passed away and I was just seeking something. Like I need to connect with him. I need comfort. I need something. And that's when I went down the whole new age, that new age path. And I look back on it now and I'm like, man, God was carrying me through all of that. He was protecting me. I didn't even know it,
Mm.
but he was carrying me through it. And I can look back and go, man, that was because I could have ended up in a different place with all of that. But he was just like, I got you. You're gonna find your way back to me. But I got you. And so it was, I can see that now. During the time, I didn't see that so much. But yeah.
Yeah, it's amazing to be
Yeah.
able to look back and see how God carries us through difficult seasons. It's amazing.
So thank you for the time to share and just talk about my son
Yeah.
and my family. I feel bad sometimes I talk about Evan and the foundation. I'm like, I have two other children. They're amazing. They're absolutely amazing. I love them all.
And I love that they're involved as well. And that's
They are. My youngest son just ended up doing the video, not video, the audio book.
oh,
He
nice.
did a beautiful job, the audio book. So now we're able to, hopefully by next semester, the students could also just purchase and listen to the book. They won't have to, although this book has a ton of pictures in it. Can't see there, but it has a lot of pictures of Evan's life through almost every page has
Um,
pictures. And we did that on purpose because we wanted people to read the book, but also have a visual of Evin. Yeah, so he did the audiobooks and the students will have access to that as well.
That's
that's great.
amazing. How fun.
Yeah. So is that on Audible or is that
We are in the process now of the publishers trying to figure out which platform to put
okay?
it on.
Okay.
So that's not out yet because it was just completed.
That's
Hopefully
so
it'll be out really
exciting.
soon.
That is exciting.
Yeah.
Yeah. Keep us posted on that
Because
one.
Yeah.
yeah, I love to drive and listen to a book or a podcast all the time.
Yeah. Same. Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Oh, thank you so much. Thank you so much for
Yeah.
being
Thank you.
here and sharing with us.
Thank you. Thank you for allowing me the time and just to get to meet you, Bree, and I know you, Sheri, but just to get to meet you, Bree, and just appreciate, yeah, the time and exposure because we're trying to create impact. And how do we do that is by talking about what's going on because a lot of people don't know what's going on.
Right.
So I appreciate the time.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Thanks so
absolutely.
much for being here.
Yes. Thank you.
Thank you. All right. All right. Take
Thank you.
care.
You too.
Bye.
All right. Bye.
Bye.